Good evening. Welcome to Bent TV. We start tonight with a panel discussion on hair. Next, Remy hears a confession from a life coach. And we finish tonight by hearing about the Bi Alliance.
Y'all need to watch under y'all damn nuts.
Good evening and welcome to Squeal. I am Andy and tonight I'm joined by John Richards and Dean Arcuri, and our topic tonight is the wonderful world of hair. Where do you want it? Where do you not want it?
I feel
is there too much?
We're woefully underqualified for the hair conversation.
I'm not sure about that. I think we're pretty well qualified. I have been noticing hair appearing in my ears, which I am rather unhappy about.
Only now.
Doesn't everyone have hair in their
developer.
ears? You're a late bloomer.
Oh, I'm getting it on
Puberty's just kicking in.
and I'm getting some on the top.
I was enjoying that today. Paul Anthony mentioned that he was getting grey in his beard, so he had to shave the beard off.
But still, the hair is so long.
I know. No. I can wrap it round. But I love grey in the muzzle.
Yeah,
I love it.
I actually have a little bit of greys here in the ends of my sideburns.
I have lots
and
of grey.
I love it. It's just this nice little sexy edge of grey, which I think is fantastic.
Yeah. If you have a moustache, does that mean you don't have to do your nose hairs?
It probably all just joins up together. Just sweep them over.
I just feel like if you have a moustache and you can maybe attest, you constantly feel like your nose is blocked.
No, I have sinus problems, so I always feel like my nose is blocked.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Hay fever.
Yeah,
awesome.
so it's all good. My mother was in town the other day, and I know this
Speaking
because
of hair,
well, no,
yes.
because
Did you see her?
I'm getting to the point. I did this time. No, she said well, she does it abruptly. She rings up. I'm in town. She also saw a UFO many years ago. I don't know if they're connected, but
that explains a lot.
She was quite freaked out by how much beardage me and my partner had because she's living in Perth, and apparently the whole because I live in Thornbury, where everyone looks like Ned Kelly.
Everybody,
you know.
yeah.
And it was kind of interesting that to realise that the facial hair thing can be quite geographically specific. So Perth people going, ooh, beards. Whereas in Melbourne, that's a prerequisite.
In Perth, they have tats all over their face instead.
It is interesting because we are filming this just after Movember has finished, one of the most hated months of the year for many, many people. But I love the crazy facial hairs that occurs. Like, I love the inventiveness of it and the fun that people have with it.
Well, I love the fact that men who to me are unattractive become attractive for 1 month. Because if they don't have facial hair, they're a woman, as far as I'm concerned.
Really?
Yeah, really.
That's your line in the sand.
Invisible. Men without
I'm
facial hair.
Flinn.
Yeah, I don't know who you are. I don't even recognise you every time I meet you, Andy. You've got to say something before I remember. But it's it's just without facial. I'm just not.
Really? How long have you had your facial hair?
20 odd years. I don't know.
Wow.
And it's never coming off.
Yeah, I had to shave it once.
Still shocks your mother.
I had to shave it once for an ABC sketch comedy series some years ago because it's obviously hard to do different characters if you have to try and stick things on top of your beard. So I'd shaved the beard off, and years later when we were trying to get a visa for England, me and my partner, every photo we had, it looked like green card. It looked like we'd just taken them that afternoon in front of a whole bunch of fake backdrops because we had the same hair and facial hair for like 20 years. And I found the one picture from the ABC with no beard in which I looked like a thumb with eyes. And that at least got us a visa for England. But it's just, but it's just, I don't know. I mean, also Fat Boy, illusion of chin.
I've got to admit, like, it does make the world of
maybe.
difference to the 7 chins that I have. It certainly does differentiate it, and it works.
Distracting impact.
But facial hair can still not work in a positive. As sexy as it is and as nice as it is, it can also be a mess. Like, I have a friend that found food in his beard like 2 days later.
Oh, okay.
That's self-sufficient.
It's not. It's disgusting. And you know, there's more upkeep and cleanliness. Not that this is a bad thing, but we're in the land of the lumberjack metrosexual.
The lumbersexual. I love lumbersexuals.
And I'm like, now this is a thing. I've been loving this for years.
I know. And everyone's been whinging about, lumbersexuals. Yeah. Well, it's not for you.
Yeah, it's for me.
You've got a beard, but you still would have to shave pretty much every day.
Well, I have
the part of the point of
sideburns.
it. Yeah.
So I don't have a beard because
You're quite
it's not
inventive
far
though,
from
aren't you,
it.
with your facial
I
hair?
am very inventive with
You're
my
an
facial hair.
inventive
I don't know
man.
if it still can be seen, but let's have
can.
It can be. I just did this recently,
It's
which was
The
the
World AIDS Day.
World AIDS Day ribbon in the back of my head. And that was really interesting because I had people coming up to me and asking, oh, that's really cool, what is that? And it was nice to kind of be engaging with it. But it was also even more interesting because I live on Smith Street and there's many people often asking for donations and things. And I had all these, you know, the people selling the Daffodil Day and anti-cancer, and they were like, you've got really cool hair. And he turned around on World AIDS Day and said, you should care about something more than your hair. And I'm like, I do. This is actually for a reason. But I think
political hair,
political hair statement. I love creative hair. I love what's going on with it. I love that people manscaping and
Cool. Yeah. Well,
great.
let's go below the neck.
Is there such a thing as too much hair?
Yeah.
No.
And how much do you manscape? And
It all depends on the person. I believe manscaping is something that someone else should do to me so that I can enjoy it.
cool.
It's fun for everyone.
You can still have lots of hair and manscape a bit though.
I remember seeing a huge muscle dude in England one time who had the furriest back I'd ever seen. And it was interesting because he was so furry. It was just the most hypnotic. It was like, may I stroke your back? It was so beautiful.
It speaks to a lot of comfort, the comfort that a person chooses to have for themselves as well. Because I have friends that have hairy shoulders and a hairy back, and that's the only part of their body that they shave. They have big beards and everything, but it's because people be like, oh, hairy shoulders and back. Do you know what? It's your hair, let it fly. Quite frankly, as long as it makes you feel happy and comfortable, that's great. Some people could work on their cleanliness a little bit more because it can smell. But we all have that problem.
It can all get knotty too if it gets too long.
How much
How
body
long
hair do
can
you
it be?
have?
Yeah, are you plaiting it? What the hell are you doing, you
Put a
crazy
brush
man?
through it every now and then. I don't know.
Yeah, well, just that's why a little bit of manscaping doesn't have to be like a. You don't have to look like a bare, bald, pink piglet or anything.
You do hit a certain
just
point in your life when you suddenly realise the people that remove all of their hair, like at some point you're like, you're not a twink anymore. It's time to step on up and embrace it. And when they don't, it actually gets really terrifying. Like I feel like it's Daddy Warbucks gone crazy.
There is that moment in which a twink has to give up being a twink.
Yeah.
And that's called 23.
Yeah. Hey, I saw online yesterday a new thing, dyeing your armpit hair. Is that the
That actually,
strangest
did you
thing?
read the article or just look at the BuzzFeed pictures? Because that was actually women doing it for a cause.
Oh.
It wasn't just a fashion
I've got to say,
trend.
though, I have noticed that armpits. I was thinking about the armpits have become mainstream.
I love them.
I love them too. But I remember 20 years
It's
ago.
Squeal After Dark, I think, we're heading into that direction.
Squeal nights. There was a joke, though, in 20 years ago in AbFab, where she made a joke about reading an article saying that you should be kissing armpits, and armpit kissing, and she was horrified by it.
And you were like, I've been doing it for years.
Well, yeah, and things in the gay scene, that's always had a sort of dirty, sweaty, sleazy kind of armpit licking. And it's always been really hot. And I realised that I think it's become actually mainstream. And I saw an ad for Caliber, the clothing company. So muscle dude, underpants, arm up, big armpit. And I thought, you wouldn't have done that as a mainstream print
now
ad
it's
10 years ago.
Cool.
So yeah, so armpits are now in.
Armpits are in.
Yeah.
So hair
You heard it here on Squeal.
Yeah.
Armpits are in. We will see you next time. You're on Bent TV. Thanks a lot.
Good evening, and thank you very much for joining us. Tonight we have a special, one of two, called Confessions of a Life Coach. So if we are going to have Confessions of a Life Coach, we probably need a life coach. So I've got a couple here with us. Say hello to Jacqui Flinn. Thank you very much for joining us,
Hello,
Jacqui.
and thanks for having us.
And I also have Mr. Matt Cooksey. Thank you for joining us, Matt.
Good to join you.
Now, we are going to start tonight with Confessions of a life coach from Matt. Matt, what terrible things have you done? Tell us.
God, where do I even begin with that topic? I guess, it all goes back really sort of 5 years ago. I reached a point in my life where I just knew that I was off track. I was not where I wanted to be. And my mum walked through the door on my 30th birthday, and I just burst into tears. And I just didn't know what was going on, why I was feeling this way. And you wouldn't necessarily expect to hear this from a life coach, but, sometimes you have to get quite low before you know what you want to do, or you're motivated to do something about it. So I guess that's my first confession is, I love my life now. I've got so many great things going on, but it wasn't always like that. It wasn't always the way it is now.
Yeah, well, because it's, I guess, in a few words, what is a life coach?
So a life coach is really, put simply, somebody who helps a client figure out where they are, see a different destination for themselves that links in with really what they want in their gut, that they may be too scared to actually go for. And then once they've figured out where that destination is, to actually go through the steps, not turn around 10 seconds into the journey and run back from where you came, and actually follow through and go and make it happen, which can be a scary thing. So we're like their new best mate. We put our arms around them, and we're going to help them get to where they really want to go.
Oh, okay. So if we have, let's say, an agreement, and I go and I haven't done my agreement, so like I only did 5 push-ups instead of like 20, are you going to get into me? Are you going to get angry?
Well, you know what? If people are not doing what you're sort of agreeing that they're going to do, there's usually some good reasons for that. So no, it's not about, you know, thrashing people and making them feel bad at all, but it's about going a bit deeper really to understand, well, you know, if you're not doing something, we didn't clearly do the first bit right about figuring out where you want to go. Or something's coming up for that person. You know, fear, that little vixen, she's sneaky and tricky, and she finds her own way in. And that's one of the biggest parts of the work that we do, is to help people figure out how to manage their fears, which come up in all manner of different ways. So you're not going to get thrashed, that's for sure. And I won't be asking anyone to do push-ups. So
Fantastic.
No stress there.
So, talking about fear and not having a perfect life, because, I mean, life isn't perfect, it happens to you. Let's go back to you. 30, broke down in tears, what was going on?
Well, you know, I didn't know. I was right in the eye of the storm, if you like, and I just knew something was off, and I think, felt off track. I wasn't where I was supposed to be, but it's, you know, for somebody who had always been quite resilient and strong and focused and had a direction, I was in this great corporate job. I'd just been promoted. I'd had holidays abroad, you know, had all these different things going on. To feel lost was really alien for me. And so what I now realise, because it's only, you know, after the event that sometimes you can see clearly, and I think that's what a coach helps you to do, is in the moment when you're confused and you don't know what's going on, a coach brings the clarity. And what I can now see is that I had just really forgotten who I was, and I'd come out quite late, and so I'd been for a long time trying to satisfy what I thought my parents wanted from me, which actually wasn't what they wanted anyway. They just wanted me to be myself, and also what, you know, I thought society wanted from me as well. And I'd lost that sense of what I'm passionate about, who I really am, what my values are, all that kind of stuff. And so, having lost myself, of course, the life that I created didn't relate back to who I was, and there was this tension going on the whole time between who I really am and actually the life that I'd created. So it was really about that, and then reorienting around who I really am.
And so, talking about reorienting, how do you then go and change that around? How did you change things to better for yourself?
Well, look, you know, I did it the hard way. That's what I would say. And part of why I love doing what I do now is to help people, you know, find a smarter way to. If you realise you're off track, to figure out where you want to go, and then do it the smart way. Transition in the smart way. But I think, you know, to be really practical about this, I think it really starts with understanding who you are. That's the very most important thing that I think anyone can do. And that can seem like a big question. And so, again, with big questions, what we always have to do is break them down. So what I suggest to people they do is really start figuring out what they're passionate about. I'm passionate about helping people do extraordinary things. Like, I love it. I can't exactly tell you why, but I love it. I friggin' love it.
And it's fun.
And it's fun. And it is fun. That's right. And so as much as it can be hard to figure out your passions, there's thousands of books that you can read on the topic. So I would recommend to people that that's where they should begin, is find what you're passionate about. And if you can kind of follow that through, you always end up in a good space.
What's a good beginning book?
So there's an awesome book called It Starts With Passion by a guy called Keith Abraham. And it was one of the first books that I started out with that really made a huge difference to helping me figure out, well, who the hell am I? And what do I want to do with that? Okay.
Now, what about if your passion is actually kind of hard passion? So, in other words, as a young person, I wanted to do acting, and do people ever put too much pressure on themselves? Like, if I want to act, I have to be Brad Pitt. If I want to be a musician, I have to be like in excess. What about that?
That's right. That's such a good point, because I think people can get on this holy grail chase, looking for this one thing that they're supposed to be doing, and that sets people up for a kind of crazy life, because, you know, they always feel like they're underperforming, or what is it that I'm looking for? And so I really say to people, look, your only purpose for being here is to use your potential and have a great time in the process. That's what you've got to do. As far as what you actually want to do from a point of view of your mission, like what's your mission in life? Well, you know, you can do all number of things. There's going to be lots of things that could make you happy. So I think determining what is a passion that is something you want to pursue in your personal life versus what is the kind of passion you could create a whole career around, there's a big topic, and sort of figuring that out is very much at the centre of what we do with people.
Yeah, it is. It's a huge topic, but we hope that gives you some idea of how to find your own passion. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll actually have a bit more of a chat to Jacqui next time. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time here.
Thank you for staying with Bent TV. Please visit our website, Twitter, YouTube channel and Facebook to find the different ways you can support Bent TV, provide feedback and become involved in supporting Bent TV. Back after this break.
Y'all need to watch on the y'all damn nuts.
Good evening, you're watching Bent TV and I'm Simon J, and I'm joined tonight by my fantastic panel, Sally, Mel and Linda. And we're going to talk tonight about bisexuality and in particular, the Bisexual Alliance. I have no idea what it is. Please, can you explain?
I can start us off at least, as I've just been attending Bisexual Alliance meetings this year so far as a general punter, I guess, and I find it a really approachable group. I would find it especially helpful if I were questioning maybe I'm bisexual, because people go there and it's pretty informal. We just share experiences, issues. As far as I know, we don't really have a set agenda, but people just bring their ideas to the table, and so we just have this great, satisfying discussion as bi and possibly bi individuals in Melbourne.
So what does it mean to you?
Well, the meetings have been great to me because I wasn't aware of how many people there were in the community. I felt so alone for a very long time. Often no one wants to say, hey, I'm bisexual, so there's not a lot of people for me to go to. Finding out that there's an alliance of people that I can go to with my problems, with any things that have happened to me, biphobic related or not, it's really good to know that you're not alone and that you've got a whole lot of people that care and and that are experiencing things similar to you.
And what does it mean to you, Sally?
It means two things to me, which is hence the alliance part, in that Mel's touched and Linda have touched on one half of the alliance, which is the discussion groups, mainly the Melbourne one that we have. And it's been, it was mentioned that it can be a safe place to discuss anything bi, whether it's, personal, coming out, issues with family or issues of bi-activism. And that also leads to the second part that perhaps is less visible, and that's the advocacy part that Bi Alliance plays, similar to organisations in Victoria, say like the Victorian Gay and Lesbian Rights Lobby and Transgender Victoria. And so the Alliance formed in 2010, bringing those two arms, if you like, of the bi community together. And again, Mel has just really touched on something that has particularly been noticeable in the last 6 months. People feel really safe to talk about issues that affect them as a person, even if it's not necessarily bi. And I think that's a pretty safe space, and it comes about because the groups are run on, in short terms, on two basic principles of discussion groups, being confidentiality, and that is people can't be identified either by name or in other ways outside the group, and respect. Everyone's different. Bi people have that common thread, but we come from, say, different ethnic backgrounds or religions, and some bi people are monogamous and some are into multiple relationships, and respect is the other critical principle, that everyone's got a common thread but everyone's different. So I think it celebrates diversity really well. So it's a safe place, and on a lighter note as well, you get to have dinner at a pub as well. Love the Palmer. So anyway, yeah.
It is quite a good venue up there in Fitzroy, but if there is one thing it's not, it just strikes me, as Sally said, it's a safe space in that it's absolutely not a clique. I guess you would imagine if you hadn't been to a group like this, any sort of group, you think, oh, I'm going to go there, they're kind of all going to be there with their drinks, and it'll be like a bit of a love-in. It's really not like that. By Alliance, every meeting we have, our facilitator we'll just run through how the meetings work and everything. So there's actually this assumption that we're going to have new people every time, people who are not sure if maybe they're bi, it might be their only meeting they go to, but we're just really open to everyone, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Can you tell us, perhaps, Mel, the first time you went along, how was it?
It was good. I didn't know what I was going to expect. I'm like, oh, what? Are they all going to be like me? Because I don't always like me. But it turned out that there was just a lot of fabulous people who were very, very different and all very open and very accepting of me straight off the bat. Mm-hmm. I wasn't questioned. I wasn't asked, "Are you sure?" Mm-hmm. It was home, and as it's come to be to me, as it's moved on, the Alliance group has actually become more of a family to me than I thought it would be, and I come to them with my problems more than I do with a lot of people, because it's such a safe space, and it is very comforting to know that you have such support, such genuine support from people. Yeah.
To paint the picture, so I'm going along for the first time. What would be confront me?
I guess you would walk into the Parkview Hotel at Fitzroy, I think is where we have it now, and which is one of those big, comfortable old pubs, and you would normally head upstairs. You might get a drink on your way or order some dinner or something, and then you'd head upstairs and there'd just be a few couches and a few approachable people milling around, and yeah, you basically just relax until everyone rocks up and it's time to chat.
So if you're a bit nervous, Sally, about going, could you get somebody could meet you beforehand? And
yeah, you could contact by Alliance, as per the details on this brochure, my best sale of the century in hand modelling, or you can look at our website bi-alliance.org and contact the mobile there, and that's James, our vice president, and he'll just have a chat, and if he for some reason can't make it, he'll let one of the other committee members or usual attendees know, not that we think bi people are extraordinary and not usual, but he'll let someone know, and we'll just let, watch out for, person X whose name begins with Z or whatever, and people will be on hand, and after we've done the ground rules at the meeting, people can go around and just introduce themselves, saying as much as they want. They can use a false name if they're nervous. There's no obligation to say anything. We have lots of people who just like to come along and listen and get ideas and that sort of thing, and just chill into the conversation. And, as I say, it can be to go to the other, or say, opposite of what we mentioned earlier, that people feel safe to talk about issues. We've been known to diverge into science fiction geekery, and we've been known, according to very clear-cut research by people and punning, there is a linkage, and so there can be a few puns as well. But it's just a fun place where people feel really safe and very, very comfortable, and just 2 hours. So we have about an hour, then have a drinks and bathroom break, and then another hour or so and wrap up, so you can be home at a civilised hour on a school night.
2 hours, and it happens when and where?
Parkview Hotel, Fitzroy North, and it's the 4th Tuesday of the month?
That's the one, yeah, the 4th, so watch out for those sneaky 5th months where there's 5 Tuesdays, it's always the 4th and not the last.
4th Tuesday of the month, Parkview Hotel, what time?
7:30 start, but be there, say 7:15 if you want to order food, drinks and toddle upstairs.
Great. And so if you want to find out more about the Bi Alliance, it's bi-alliance.org. Did I get it right? bi-alliance.org. You've been watching Bent TV. Bent TV, even. I'd like to thank my fabulous panel, Sally, Mel and Linda. See you next time.
That's all the time we have for tonight. Thank you for watching. My name is Gavin Henderson. Please visit our website, YouTube channel, Facebook to keep in contact and support Bent TV.